Greetings, everyone. David Russell here at David Russell Podcast. Today is January 6, 2026. It's 5 years since we had the coup d'etat on the United States government. And of course, the Democrats tried to make it sound like it's an insurrection. Well, we both know it wasn't an insurrection. Nobody had guns. It was just a simple protest to try to get people to understand that that election was stolen. And of course, now that we have President Trump, we are seeing the truth about this, and it was 100% stolen. And of course, we can see if we keep having elections stolen, we're going to end up being slaves to these people. So we've got to get after every election, make sure everyone votes, try to do away with this voter apathy where people just don't vote. We want to make sure people know why they need to vote, what's the reasons, and get them to the polls. I need to talk about my last podcast. I've been fighting a little cedar fever here, and of course you see Rush, or we used to watch Rush, and when he was dying, he was still putting out fabulous podcasts and radio shows, and you never knew that he was in such great pain. And I thought, Rush can do it. I can do it with this little bit of cedar fever. But after watching that video, after I put it out, it was not very good work, and I need to apologize, people. I'm going to do better on this. We're also changing up the format a little bit again. We're going to be going all over the place trying to figure out what works, what people really want to see. I love those AI videos that makes fun of whatever's going on. Today's a little more serious because we literally had a coup d'etat, and we got someone like Joe Biden. It hurt every one of our pocketbooks because, they started with the Green New Deal, and then they started talking about equity. I tell you what equity is. They want to take things away from us that has achieved something and give it to someone that has not achieved anything. Now, I want to help everybody, but I don't think we should be giving up anything. That's theft. We lose too much through taxation in theft. So, anyway, we've got several memes here today, and I'm going to put them over just like I did last time so we can talk to you a little bit. The first one is basically showing it's 5 years from last year today, and we need to never forget what happened, because how can this be an insurrection when everybody stayed in the ropes and they was led around by the police in the Capitol Hill? It just did not make sense that it was what the media was trying to say and what the Democrats were trying to say. We need to remember that. I'm still not seeing enough in the media. I really expected today that some of our positive news sources like Fox News and others would actually do a story about it, because it was a coup d'etat. Anyway, the second one is basically about the one person that actually did die on January 6, 2021. A lady that had been in the service, a white lady, unarmed. If it was a Democrat and if it was someone of color or someone else and it was a white person that killed them, we would have seen nonstop in the news how bad it is. But in this situation, and I don't want to take it because one color or the other, because it's a black man that shot a white woman, that doesn't matter. It's murder. That's all it was. And to add to that, now we find out that that man that shot that woman I understand, has a daycare center unlicensed in his home that he's gotten $190 million for, or at least that's what a meme that I saw showed. Is it true? Is it not? I don't know, but it needs to be checked out because those are your dollars, those are my dollars, and I'm tired of these people living fabulously on our hard work, stealing from us. This next meme is President Trump. That day, does this look like he's telling people to take up arms and go do something, something extraordinary like the Democrats are trying to say? The truth is no. What he was saying was protest peacefully and respectfully. During this time before, we saw hundreds of protests all over the country, burning down things. And of course, CNN was saying mostly peaceful while a big flaming fire was going behind them. Well, I bet you that person that lost that business to fire, or that insurance company that had to pay that claim, didn't feel like it was mostly peaceful. But they didn't care about that. It was about trying to make Trump look bad. We really need to understand it and look at this at a different level. Now, this last meme is the people that did do the coup d'etat, the people that did have an insurrection. Nancy Pelosi and her group, her January 6th group. The frustrating thing is we see the national media hold these people up and talk about how great they are and give them plenty of time. Well, I think we're seeing that the national media on television is a dying source of news. Where are people getting their news? From places like this, people on X, and some other fine places. And the only way that this is going to get out is if you share it, because we don't have the dollars that forces the information out like the national news. So again, like, share, subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing to subscribe. All that does is says whenever another video comes out, it's on the list. You can look and see if you want to see it, if it's interesting or not. Now, we talked about these podcasters like myself, and there is a bunch of good ones. But I found a new one. First time I found this, and I'm going to show you a little clip of this guy. He's incredible. You need to look him up on YouTube and subscribe to him and go through some of this. Today's first day I found it. His name is David Clement. What I understand, he's a professor, or was a professor. I think he gave up his professorship because of what I was reading, COVID-19 mandates wanting him to take a shot. Well, now we see that was all wrong. Also, I think he was a legal professor because he was also a professor, a lawyer. Now, all I can tell you is I'm impressed with this guy. You need to watch him. Benny Jones, or Benny Johnson, I think it is, or The Benny Show, The Rubin Report. There are so many other ones. I watch them just about every day. Like I said, I miss Rush Limbaugh. He was my go-to before, but now that he's gone, people have to fill the void. I might be doing it in a small way. I'm trying to get better every day. Today, I'm trying to make sure I keep it at the lowest number possible. So I'm going to end with this YouTube video, a small clip. You watch that and then come back to see me in the next few days. Thank you for watching, and you have a very good evening.
At the bottom, the associates. Not made men, never will be, but they do 90% of the work. Human beings mostly, some carrying Nephilim blood from way back, some just useful idiots, presidents, bankers, popes, generals, celebrities, traffickers, tech lords. Any ethnicity, any flag. They drive the cars, move the product, launder the cash, pass the laws, start the wars. They think they're players, They're just delivery boys who don't know the package is rigged to blow up in their hands.